everybody. We are back again to talk a little college
Football.
football. Man, it's just nice to be deep into football season again.
Yes,
isn't
it
Yeah.
is.
You go through that long 6-8 month stretch, whatever, 9 month stretch of no football, and it's tough. But we're in football season again, and we're going to talk a little college football. We're going to recap
Week 3.
week 3. Man,
And we're already heading into week 4.
yeah, we're going to do some picks for week 4. Already in week 4.
Week 4.
Week 4 already. All right.
That is really, it's flying by.
Yep. Let's see. So we will do a little recap on week 3. Starting, we're not going to do them in order. We're just going to do them by the way that they were on the schedule. A bunch of, like we mentioned last week, there was a bunch of
Very,
cream puff games.
this should be the last of them.
Yeah, hopefully. But number 3, Georgia played Arkansas State, beat them 55-0. So.
It's pretty much handled their business.
Yeah, Ohio State beat Indiana 51-10. Indiana's horrible.
Well, they're not really good at football historically anyway, so.
No. There was now the Penn State Pitt game was actually competitive. They're rivals. I thought it would have been more than that, but Pitt won 17-10.
The Pittsburgh.
Penn State win. Penn State won 17-10.
When did the Pitt Panthers turn into the Seattle Seahawks at the goal line? Just want to make sure.
There's a lot of Seattle Seahawks at the goal line anymore. It's really a sad state that you can't run the ball from the 1 anymore. But hey, we had number 7 Notre Dame taking on New Mexico, beat them 66-14.
That was pretty much a warm-up game.
That was a warm-up game
a
for
very
the
interesting
game this week that we'll get to in a minute. We had number 2 Alabama at South Carolina. South Carolina gave them a decent game, beat them up a little bit, but
Why would you give up 20-plus points to South Carolina?
I don't know. I said South Carolina had a little bit to give them, but I mean, still lost by 24. But they had a little bit to give them. We had number 11 Utah skunked Idaho State 31-0. Auburn beat the crap out of Kent State 55-16.
Now, that's what I was wanting to see right there
Yeah.
from Auburn. They had a lackluster showing last week, and then they had a pretty put-your-foot-down performance that week.
They did, yeah. The really good game of the week was Florida at Kentucky. Kentucky should have won the game.
Should have won the game, but
It was 23-21.
and they lost Felipe Franks.
Yeah, prayers for Felipe.
Felipe Franks.
Also prayers for the Kentucky kicker. He missed a 37-yard field goal to win the game.
Man, that's gotta feel bad. That has gotta feel bad. I mean,
Yeah.
but other than that, Florida pretty much coasted on their high-end talent throughout the game.
It was a good competitive game, though. I mean, it was a good competitive game. It just sucks when you get down to somebody missing a 37-yard field goal. But hey, hard as life. We had Clemson at Syracuse. Syracuse had been giving Clemson some troubles in the past few years, but not this year.
Not this year.
41-6.
Maybe we should have got notice of that when Maryland skunked them a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, was it Clemson? Wasn't Syracuse ranked?
Yes,
couple weeks
they
ago?
were ranked a couple of weeks ago.
Not right now. We had Northwestern State at LSU. LSU won 65-14. LSU steamrolling right now. They look like a really good team.
Oh yeah, well Joe Burrow continuing to take a step up.
Mm-hmm.
A step up that ladder of quarterbacking ability.
Yeah, we had Oklahoma at UCLA. Poor UCLA.
Do you know who's gonna? He's a co-honoree for our treasure of the week that we forgot to do last week.
Oh yeah, Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Here's his passing in 15 of 20 for 289 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, averaged 14.5 yards a pass. And on top of that, he ran for 14 times for another 150 yards and a touchdown, averaging 10.7 yards.
He's a
per
human
catch.
cheat code.
So every time he snapped the ball and either threw it or ran it himself, they averaged a first down every time he touched the ball.
Human cheat code.
Yeah. If he ain't your tops for the Heisman right now, something wrong. But they went into UCLA. UCLA stinks right now. The chips have gone completely stale.
I don't think they have a flavor.
No, they're sort of.
Does someone have
They're soggy now. They got wet. They're just soggy chips now.
Does no one have a Chip Kelly return policy over at UCLA?
I don't know, but with that, I'm guaranteed they're looking for one right now. We had Texas at Rice. Took care of them pretty easy, 48-13.
Yeah, the Longhorns had a good dinner there.
Yeah, and then Oregon over Montana, 35-3. That was pretty simple of a game too. So that's our recap of Week 3. Those were some cream puff games with a couple good ones sprinkled in there.
Now this week has some really interesting ones getting into the conference slate.
Yeah, first of all, right off the bat, we'll just say number 5, Oklahoma, does not play this week. So
they're on a bye week.
They're on a bye week, and
so we don't get to see Jalen Hurts tear it up again.
We don't get to see him throw for 300 and run for 300 this week. And Penn State, who is tied
with Wisconsin
for
in
13.
the polls.
They're on a bye this week too, so we've got 2 byes. But number 1, Clemson does play. I mean, it's just another scrimmage game. They play Charlotte. They're favored by 41.5.
Would you take
points.
that?
I don't know. I don't know that much about Charlotte. Charlotte's 2-1. I'm afraid they might pull up and rest some people once they get up by 30 points, and it might not go to 40. That'd be hard for me to touch that. We got Alabama with basically a scrimmage game too. Southern Miss is coming in there. They're favored by 38.5 over Southern Miss. I would probably take that for some.
Yeah, it's Tua and Trevor's got easy opponents.
But Tua's trying to keep up with Hurts in the Heisman race, so he's going to try to do as much as he can. So they probably will beat him by 40.
Isn't it fitting that one former Alabama starter and one current Alabama starter are fighting for the Heisman?
Yep. And then we have the game of the week. At least one of the 2 of them that's really, 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 really good. Number 7. I know we skipped to number 7 because, you know why? Because they're playing number 3. So we had to mention them. Number 3, Georgia, is taking on Notre Dame.
Since Georgia has the home field, I may give it to the Bulldogs.
I am going to give it to Georgia. I think that Georgia will actually not handily beat them, but it'll be double. I think they'll get them by double digits. I think they will.
I just feel like
Georgia's got too much talent.
Superior talent and superior.
Yeah.
I think they're the superior team at the end of the day.
I think they are too. Yeah, I think they'll take care of them, and it won't be
much
of a struggle.
Big game.
That is a big, and that'll be a fun game to watch. Number 4, LSU is playing a SEC rival, Vanderbilt. Not really a rival, it's Vanderbilt. But
Vanderbilt is probably going to get run out of the building there.
Oh yeah, LSU's favored by 24 in Vandy, and I would take that. I would probably say
you're going to take.
I'll take me minus 24 on that one. I don't know. I just got that feeling. You know what I mean? Just got that feeling. Like we said, number 5 is not playing. They're on a bye this week. That would be Oklahoma. So we'll jump to number 6. Miami of Ohio is the latest slaughter to go into Ohio State. Ohio State's favored by 38.5 over that team. Miami is Miami of Ohio sometimes is a pretty good team. You know, the alma mater of
Ben Roethlisberger.
Who got hurt this week? Or last week. This week.
Yeah, last week.
Last week, yeah. But Miami of Ohio is not really good right now, so yeah. Ohio State's going to probably take care of them pretty quick. And we've already talked about number 7, Notre Dame, because they're going into number 3, Georgia. So we will jump to number 8, Auburn. And this is another pretty good game. This will be a nice little juicy. This is an SEC matchup.
Auburn the SEC game of the week.
We got Auburn at Texas A&M.
Texas A&M gets a second shot to see what kind of team they have this year.
Yeah, and believe it or not, Texas A&M is ranked 17th. They're outside the top 15, so we don't talk about them much. But they are favored.
They are favored to beat Auburn,
by 4 points. And they'll be 4 points at home, which means they would be favored over Auburn in a neutral site.
That's interesting.
Which is interesting. Auburn number 8
but
and them ranked number 17.
Considering who Texas A&M lost to, I won't really count that loss too much against them. So, losing to Clemson is not a bad loss.
No.
So, they have a second chance here at Auburn. Who do you pick?
That's a tough one, to be honest. As up and down as Auburn's been, I probably would take A&M there.
Let's go with A&M. Why not?
I think that I don't know. Auburn's not being solid. I mean, they had one
inconsistent. Let's just say that.
They got 55 points last week. They'll probably score 5 this week. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get with them.
Just a bag of trail mix with Auburn.
Yeah. Is that a peanut or a raisin? I just don't know. Oh, and then we got number 9, Florida. Why is Florida? I mean, I'm sorry. I know Tennessee plays Florida this week, and I'm a Tennessee fan, even though they're horrible right now. Why is Florida ranked number 9 in the country?
Well, they've played up to their competition and down to their competition lately, and mainly have coasted on high-end talent.
They should have got beat by Miami. They should have got beat by Kentucky. They're 3-0, but they're really 1-2 if you go by what they put on the field. And I don't even think that. I mean, they're not a top 20 team to me.
Well, that's a bit of a controversial opinion, but
they look horrible. Now, honestly, now that they went to a backup quarterback, they might get better. I don't know how that backup quarterback looks. He looked good enough to throw 19 points up on Kentucky without Kentucky scoring anything back, but you don't know. We'll wait and see.
Let's see what this new offense under this new backup quarterback will look like.
Yeah, Tennessee is playing at Florida. Florida's favored by 14. Honestly, I don't think they'll beat Tennessee by 14. I don't think Tennessee's going to win, but I think it'll be around a 10-point game. So we'll go with Tennessee and the points on that one. And then we go to number 10, Utah at USC. And how's this for sign of the times? Utah is at USC, and Utah's favored.
Yeah, that's USC has fallen under a bit of a hard time. Last week's loss to BYU especially was brutal.
Utah's favored by 3.5 at USC. So if they were in Utah, they'd be favored by 7 points, basically.
So let's take Utah and the points.
I would take Utah there.
And let's just keep it at that.
Yeah, and then we have our second game of the week. There's our third game of the week, basically. We got Michigan at Wisconsin. 11 Michigan at 13 Wisconsin.
That is going to be a good game.
That's a slobber knocker right there. That's a 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Kind of knock you out.
I'm going to go ahead and pick my decision on my pick. Or
go ahead.
Pick my pick. Or like...
Who is it? What do you think?
Pick my pick.
Pick your pick.
On Wisconsin.
On Wisconsin. Badgers. I don't know what it could be a Michigan or a Wisconsin. We're taking Wisconsin.
They've shown me that they're more capable of possibly contending with Ohio State in the Big Ten.
Yeah, Michigan's been a little wishy-washy too. They
almost lost to Army at home in overtime.
Yeah,
almost lost.
Yeah, and we've got number 12 Texas. Oklahoma State is going to Texas. Oklahoma State's 3-0, and they play Texas really, really, really good.
Over the past few years, it's been really competitive.
Really competitive. I think it'll be a close game.
Who do you pick?
I probably will take Texas, but I don't think they'll cover the spread. The spread's 6.5 points.
So let's go with the Longhorns.
Longhorns for the win on that one. Again, we can't talk about number 13 because it's Wisconsin, and we've already talked about them. And the other number 13, Penn State,
is on a bye week.
So that means there's no number 14
in the polls this week.
Because 13 and 13 take up those 2 spots.
It's a tie there.
So we go directly to number 15. Who are them?
UCF has jumped onto the scene.
Has jumped into the top 15.
After they pummeled Stanford.
We got to talk about, everybody's going to pump. Man, how about that Pac-10?
Yeah, the Pac-12.
Pac-12. Should be about Pac-7 right now.
That's another rough year for the conference.
Yeah, they're having a rough year right now. But UCF is at Pittsburgh, and UCF should win that one pretty handily.
Should win that pretty handily. They're actually quite talented on paper.
Yeah,
so
they are.
They will take care of Pittsburgh.
Yeah. But that's it. That is our recap of week 3 and our picks
for week 4.
For week 4. Week 4 of football.
Week 4 already.
Week 4. But it's been some good football. Be sure and hit the like button on us down here. Hit the subscribe button on us down here.
Hit the groovy baby button.
Leave a comment. Share us with your friends and leave a comment
somewhere on my head.
Right there on his face somewhere. Other than that, we are out of here.
See you next week.